Yeah.
Don't hold it against us.
Okay, it's 6:30, so we'll call to order the Morris City Council meeting scheduled for November 17th. Would you call the roll, please?
Kathy Griffith,
Here?
Sid Porter,
Here.
Melissa Hunt,
Here.
Louis Williams,
Here.
Adam Webb, Rob Clark,
Here.
Mark Ham.
Here. Our Pledge of Allegiance is going to be led by Girl Scout Troop 798.
Color guard attention. Color guard advance. Color guard post your colors. Color guard honor your colors. Audience, would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic through which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Color guard dismissed. Audience, you may be seated.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. We so appreciate you doing this. Item 2 is our consent docket.
Make a motion to approve the consent docket, items A through E.
Second.
We've had the motion and the second. Would you call the vote?
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Sid Porter,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
Louis Williams,
Yes.
Rob Clark,
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes. Item 3 is consider approval of ordinance number 1072-25, amending Part 15, Chapter 5, Section 15516 of the Warren Municipal Code by adding a provision prohibiting the holding or use of handheld cellular telephones in school and construction zones, providing for a repealer and providing for severability.
Mayor and Council, there's a new state law that went into effect on November the 1st. The state law prohibits the holding or use of a handheld cellular phone while traveling through a construction zone or a school zone. The new state law also permits municipalities to enact, and police officers may enforce ordinances prohibiting and penalizing this conduct. What we've done is I've just added Section C, and it's word for word what the state statute is, and it allows for a up to $100 fine according to our ordinances. Copy state law.
Okay, any
Make a
questions?
motion, we approve.
Second.
We've had a motion and a second. Would you call the vote?
Sid Porter,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams,
Yes.
Rob Clark,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item passes. Item 4 is consider adopting resolution number 12225, declaring the necessity for acquiring certain real property and/or easements, more particularly hereinafter described, all within the city of Moore, county of Cleveland, state of Oklahoma, for the purpose of Telephone Road, Southwest 34th Street, south to the city limits, roadway improvements project in the city of Moore, and declaring the necessity for acquiring said properties for roadway widening and reconstruction purposes.
Mayor and Council, this resolution institutes the eminent domain proceedings on this particular project south of Southwest 34th Street. There are four parcels that still remain, and we've been working, trying to be able to come to an agreement, and it appears that we're not going to be able to do that. But we will continue, even though we begin the process, to try to work with them. I would recommend approval of instituting the eminent domain process
Are
on
we
this.
coordinating with Norman also
This ain't
on the
working.
south end?
We still continue to coordinate the project with Norman on the south side of our city
Property
limits.
that they're having to acquire?
No, they've been able to already acquire all of theirs.
Okay. I hate that it comes to that. Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Had the motion and the second. You can call the vote.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams,
Yes.
Rob Clark,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Sid Porter,
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes. Item passes. Item 5 is consider approval of addendum number 2 with WSB, previously EST Inc., in the amount of $211,975 for additional engineering services for Broadway Avenue, South 19th Street to Willow Pine, and Eastern Avenue, South 19th Street to Broadway, widening and reconstruction project Phase 1, 2, and 3.
Mayor and council, this addendum can be broken up into 3 categories, basically. The first category deals with adjusting the location of the roundabout slightly to avoid taking any property from the church at that location. And we needed to move it a little further north and a little further east at that location. And so they had to, unfortunately, the roundabout kind of ties into all 3 projects at that location, and so they had to do some design work to be able to accommodate that. The second area had to do with separating the plans into the 3 separate individual projects. The reason that we want to do that is that, one, from a constructability standpoint and maneuverability of the traffic. Trying to get from the southeast part of Moore, into the central part of Moore, tying up that entire area of both Eastern and Broadway from 19th all the way back to south and east of Broadway, the intersection. We just felt that from a constructability standpoint, if we wanted to bid one phase, we could do that without interrupting too much the flow of traffic, and it just made more sense to do that. And so that was the second area that was a major relocation. The third area had to do with avoiding a gas line from Southern Star Gas Company. Southern Star Gas Company, I believe it was a 12 or a 16-inch gas line that goes from east to west. So it crosses underneath Eastern Avenue as well as underneath Broadway because of the goofy offset intersection. And so the city was required by the agreement that we would have to pay to relocate the pipe that was in our or outside of our right-of-way for those particular intersection or locations, conflicts with the gas line. And our cost share was just under $800,000 to do that. And so we asked them to take a look at, go back and look at the whole the drainage system for that entire area, so see what we can do and find something that would work, that we wouldn't have to interrupt or have the conflict. And that was the cost for that. They have found, or they have been able to work where we believe that we're able to avoid relocating either of those gas lines at that location. So probably the design and surveying for the Eastern Avenue, moving the roundabout a little bit, and also for the main cost would have been for the avoiding the gas line.
Yeah.
And so that's why we recommend approval of these cost changes.
What order are you planning to do the construction in?
The first piece of construction that I foresee, phase 1, would be from Eastern at 19th to Broadway, and since we've offset it a little bit, we should be able to construct the roundabout and tie it into the existing roads if need be. Well, we would need to do that, but to tie it into those existing roads. That would be phase 1. It all depends on the time that we get all of the right-of-way acquired and the utilities relocated also. But obviously, we would not be doing anything with that section from Broadway to 19th, or I'm sorry, from the intersection of the roundabout to 19th on Broadway until after the railroad underpass is complete.
All right.
And then, so that probably would be the last portion. There's again, just depending on how much interruption to traffic, there's a possibility we could do maybe 2 phases together going south towards Willow Pine. If we can, we will try to do that.
All right, very good, thank you.
Would recommend approval of the addendum.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Would you call the vote, please?
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Rob Clark,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Sid Porter,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes. Item's approved. Item 6 is consider approval of a professional service contract with Retail Strategies LLC in the amount of $45,000 for a one-year consulting agreement focused on downtown revitalization and placemaking, with a portion of this fee, $15,750, remitted back to the city as a grant award winner of the Oklahoma Department of Commerce's Oklahoma Community Marketing Partnership Program.
Mayor and Council, this item is requesting approval for the city's portion of this grant program. This is the first time the Department of Commerce has ever done anything of this nature, so therefore it is unbudgeted because it came about very quickly with the Department of Commerce, and the turnaround time was very quick to get our project back to them. Very specific about the types of projects that they were interested in, and downtown revitalization was one of those. So we did submit the Old Town as an opportunity for a consultant to come in and do a one-year study. We were awarded the $15,750. The annual contract is the $45,000, so that would bring the city's portion to $29,250. This company is out of Birmingham, Alabama. They've been in business for a very long time, studying retail and cities. And then more recently, probably within the last 6 to 7 years, they've been very concentrated, a portion of their company, on downtowns and Old Town districts. So we're very confident in the consultants, and it's a great, great opportunity to work with them and have them here in Oklahoma. They have worked with other cities in Oklahoma just on a more broad scale of retail, but this is very, very specific to the Old Town area. And again, it will be a one-year contract, and in your packets, there's the agreement that talks about the process and the timeline for that. But there will be stakeholder meetings, we'll do walkabouts, walkthroughs, and just try to find that low-hanging fruit. And then we will finish the project with a 5-year action plan. So then we will have ours to keep, a 5-year action plan with very detailed actions ranging from, very large and maybe pie in the sky type opportunities down to, should we put a mural on this wall and make some interactive spaces throughout Old Town. So it's pretty comprehensive, and I think a great opportunity to look at what we have existing, set that benchmark, and then figure out what's our potential in the Old Town area.
Assuming this gets approved, when do we expect that would commence?
Tomorrow. They are very excited, and as quickly as the turnaround time was for Commerce, then it took quite a long while to get the awards back, and that's the reason in the reduction of the price. They had a lot more cities that applied than they had anticipated, and so they wanted to make sure that every city got a little bit of something to participate with. So that's great on their part, and I think they saw the interest, and hopefully we'll continue to do this. But yes, if approved, we will start tomorrow with a conference call, and then we'll lay out our timeline for getting everyone together.
And you're comfortable that they can get it done in a year?
Oh, absolutely. It'll be on us. A lot of them, their portion is just facilitating the process. It
Okay.
will be up to us then to have some stakeholder meetings and some steering committee meetings and to really drive the process. So I'm very confident in them, and I'm also equally as confident in us.
How much time will they spend here?
That's a good question. On the ground, they will probably only spend about 2 days as a consulting firm. Them physically here, they'll do a walk around and walk through and then meet with stakeholders. But everything else will just be conveyed to them through
Okay.
virtual meetings, and then also just through emails and plans.
Very good.
Is most of their experience with smaller towns, or?
Actually, it varies. They've had, again, they're from Birmingham. They've done a lot in Alabama. and they have worked with cities of all sizes. So it's really interesting to look at their portfolio. They've definitely worked with cities that are much smaller than ours, and they've definitely worked with cities that are much, much larger. So, and as far as that downtown group, that's all they do. So they have their own separate portfolio of just working with downtown districts and central business districts in the entire United States.
What do you anticipate the stake or the committee that will be made up of? Council, business,
All the above,
residents?
all the above. Definitely, I've already had some interest from the local property owners, and that's fantastic, and absolutely they would be on that. And so, all the above, business
Okay.
owners, council members, residential members of the community, of the Old Town community, and then definitely property owners that are here.
What about, thought about bringing any developers in to at least participate in the ideation?
Right. It's a good point, and what I think I would do is put that to the consultants and ask them the pros and cons of that, because they have always worked as intermediaries between the developers, so I think they would know firsthand the pros and the cons of that.
Yeah.
But that's a great question, and I will definitely ask them that, because I bet they have a lot of good background of
Yeah.
how that goes.
Very good.
They have your business card?
They have 12 of my
Okay.
business cards,
Good.
each of them. Yep, they do.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we've had the motion and a second. Would you call the vote?
Rob Clark,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Sid Porter,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes. Item carries.
Thank you.
Item 7, consider approval of a new job description for administration specialist, animal welfare in the Animal Shelter Division of Public Works Department, and assign it to pay grade 107 of the salary table approved by City Council on June 20th, 2016, and in accordance with the budget approved by City Council for fiscal year 25-26. This is under Human Resources.
Mayor and Council, the Public Works Department requests your approval of the submitted draft of a new job description for Administrative Specialist, Animal Welfare, and the Animal Welfare Division. This new job descriptor will more accurately reflect the organization of the division and the duties to be performed, specifically advanced administrative support for the specialized tasks within the division. To continue to maintain our fair and equitable classification system and pay plan, I am recommending placing this budgeted position in grade 107 of the pay scale based on the duties, responsibilities, and accountabilities assigned. Staff recommends approval, and I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have.
So this is a new position, correct?
What we've really done is taken the administrative specialist jobs that we already have,
Okay,
made it a division level job,
okay.
and then put it in a pay scale slightly below the administrative
Okay.
specialist
'Cause
for
my
full
question, I was
departments.
questioning whether or not we need another administrative position over there, because there seems to be the struggle of caring for enough animals to be able to keep the animals in the shelter, and maybe a kennel tech is more where we need, but if this is a position that's already there and we're just rearranging it, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so, just so the council knows, had several conversations with Dennis Bothell about the animal shelter and their operations. And right now, our thinking is that as far as kennel techs and those types of positions, we are adequately staffed. There needs to be a little redirection on that. However, as far as documentation and things like that, that's where the things need to be improved. And we think this position will be a big step towards doing that.
Okay.
Recommend approval.
Very good.
Thank you, sir.
And I would add, as I was just reading through the job description, this person is housed over at the animal shelter.
The animal shelter, yes.
And I think it's just important, again, if we're just reassigning a position or moving an employee around, but that if you're working with animals, we need to make sure that those people like working with animals. You would think you wouldn't have to ask that, but you do. So during the interview process, that should be something that we shouldn't just assume. And I want to, and I visited a little bit with Brooks about it, but just want to continue to see the professionalism in all of our departments. And just, again, reading through this description, and this person will be interacting with our residents of Moore, and they pay for that place. And so we definitely want to have good, professionalism in all of our departments. And just, again, reading through this description, and this person will be interacting with our residents of Moore, and they pay for that place. And so we definitely want to have good, professionalism in all of our departments. And just, again, reading through this description, and this person will be interacting with our residents of Moore, and they pay for that place. And so we definitely want to have public relations, good community service, customer service, and that's vital, that people are greeted with a smile and hello, and how can we help you today? And just have a very professional attitude and conduct of all of our city employees. Okay.
Sir.
So we've had a motion. Do we have a motion and a second yet?
Nope.
Any other questions?
Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Would you call the vote, please?
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Sid Porter,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Rob Clark,
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes. Item passes. Thank you. Item 8, consider approving the purchase of two 2026 Harley-Davidson police motorcycles from Fort Thunder Harley-Davidson in the amount of $30,786 after the trade-in of two 2023 Harley-Davidson police motorcycles.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is an annual budgeted replacement of two of our motorcycles. We replace two motorcycles a year. This is a budgeted purchase, but unfortunately, you might notice the price is a little higher this year, and that's because there's a body style change that we're held captive by. So this year and next year, we'll see a bit of an increase in the cost, but then that should flatten back out to the similar level than what we've been paying in the past. Generally speaking, we have a partnership with our local Harley-Davidson provider, and we get excellent service from them, and we get an excellent purchase price from them. And we have determined that it's cheaper for us to trade these motorcycles in on a reoccurring basis than it is for us to maintain them long term. And we get a better looking product and a better performing product that has less maintenance cost. This, again, is an annual routine purchase, but that is a point that I wanted to point out to Mayor and Council.
We have 6 total?
We have 4.
4, okay.
Yes, sir.
And
Yeah,
we
we have
rotate them every 3 years?
2 years.
2 years, okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, I was just 2023 to 2026. I was just trying to do the math here.
Yes,
so.
sir. And we did get into a change where we were rotating motorcycles every year.
Okay.
But then the downtime, last year, we determined that the downtime it takes to rotate out and re-equip 4 new motorcycles is too much downtime for the officers. We're not
Sure.
getting resource out of that.
Yeah.
So we switched to 2. And so we are keeping them a little bit longer, which also impacts the trade-in price. But the biggest impact is this. And this starts us, this is our first year of doing the 2 cycle rotation. So everything will flatten out once we get a better rhythm
Okay.
put into place. But unfortunately, it's a little bit more pricey this year. Like I said, it will be a body style change, and there are components on the motorcycle that we generally would buy aftermarket or transfer over from the old motorcycles that we're not going to be able to do that with, that are going to come on these new motorcycles.
Okay.
So we'd recommend approval, or I'd entertain any other questions.
Any questions? Just need a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have the motion and the second. Would you call the vote?
Sid Porter,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Rob Clark,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes. Item passes. Motorcycles, they can hide in places, so you gotta be careful.
We don't hide, sir. We
No,
look for
you
traffic
don't.
safety and reducing property crime and
Okay.
injury accidents.
That's good. That's very good.
Thank you.
Good answer.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And, well, let me read this. real
Yes,
quick.
sorry, sir.
Do my part. Receive a presentation from Police Todd Gibson regarding the computer-aided dispatch, CAD, and records management system upgrade project.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. This is fiscally a non-action item. We're not asking for any money tonight. Tonight's purpose is just to inform, update, and prepare Mayor and Council for future decisions and future requests, but also answer any questions or clarifications that this body may need to proceed forward with this fairly large project. In the audience tonight, we have 2 members from Tyler Technology with us to answer any questions that you may have that maybe I can't answer. We also have Major Maddox. Major Maddox is the primary point that's managed our vendor selection process, and it's been a lengthy process, and he's done a great job at doing that. But he can maybe speak better than I to why we landed on this particular project. And we also have Chief Marler in the audience that can speak to anything fire-related, although the heavy lifting of this overall project will be police-related and dispatch center-related. They have a first due system that will work within this CAD RMS system. And just excuse me, I'm a little thrown off, but my slides don't look like that on here. And so when it transitioned on there, so threw my OODA loop off a little bit, my rhythm off a little bit there. But again, I just want to give a short presentation over, I will use the word CAD RMS a lot, and that's kind of lingo within the industry of policing, and so I'll explain what that is. A CAD RMS is computer-aided dispatch system that helps public safety manage emergency calls and coordinate responses in real time. The CAD portion receives the 911 call, dispatches nearest available units, tracks their location, logs incident details, and provides improved response times and resource management. So look at this as a two-part larger project that works in connection with each other. Many times we think about CAD just as a 911 call. They type some stuff into a computer and it goes out. Well, yes, at a very high level, that's accurate, but there's a lot more in the details, in the intricacies of what that takes to do that in an effective and timely manner that Director Mason, Mandy Mason and her team work with. And so this CAD system is a piece of software that they're going to work with in depth, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's going to be constantly used just as much as 911 or anything else. And it will improve not only efficiencies, but it'll improve the data that the officers, the firefighters, and paramedics get when they're responding to a call for service.
Just real quick, when you say it dispatches the units, so it just knows the units that are available, and will it let the dispatcher know who to send, or it will just send it to the patrol car? Or?
Well, we are looking at proximity dispatching, so where it will recommend the closest available unit, and it will prompt that dispatcher who's the closest and who's the most available to get to this call. We still hold pretty strictly to geographical policing. One of our current deficiencies with the CAD system that we currently have, it does not prioritize calls. This new system will prioritize calls, which will help us maintain the integrity of geographic policing. So lower priority calls can hold for the district officer who really needs to pay attention and build that relationship connection with the individual they're serving. But higher priority calls, it's going to prompt the dispatcher, hey, this officer's the closest and the quickest to respond.
Okay.
It'll also tell them, we have protocols that will interact with this. Gets very detailed. You know this, sir. It gets very detailed. But we also have protocols that will interact with this CAD RMS system that not only will tell who's the closest and we need to send, but also how many we need to send. Do we need to send a supervisor? All these things will just cut seconds off of decision-making, which will increase response time and speed delivery of service.
Do you have the ability to control the priority system?
Yes, sir. We can prioritize the calls.
Prioritize, you can set your prioritization. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Very good.
So what works hand in hand with that is so next in line, if you think about a 911 call that comes in, it processes through the CAD system or the computer-aided dispatch system out to the officer. Officer goes out and does their work. That then relays itself to officer works in a records management system. So they're going to do reports, they're going to do citations, they're going to do charges. All that goes to the records management system. And the records management system stores, organizes information such as incident reports, arrest reports, citations, evidence, criminal history, providing secure, accessible data for investigations and reporting. Together, CAD and RMS allow agencies to respond efficiently to emergencies, maintain accurate reports, and analyze trends to support effective public safety operations. So oftentimes when we think about records management system, we think, oh, well, it's just an officer taking a report. But it's so much more than that. This will touch every portion of our 911 center, every portion of our police department, from charges to the district attorney, to municipal court, to patrol, detectives. There won't be, actually, quite frankly, the chief's office will probably be least impacted by this CAD RMS system. Every other records division, community service will all be heavily impacted by the data and the information, the accuracy of what comes in and comes out of the CAD RMS system. So it's more than just taking a report, if you will. And that's what we want to stress. And a little bit of the background as to why are we here. When I first came to Moore Police Department in April of 2020, one of the first complaints or challenges that we faced, or that I heard about, was our current CAD RMS system. It was a system called PTS. We still have it today. We purchased it in 2018 for about $500,000, roughly. And the system continued, or continues to not deliver as promised, not perform as promised. It's not mobile capable, so officers can't, practically or feasibly do reports out in their car. They all have to come back. I drive to your house, I take the information, and I drive back to the police department and do a report. That's timely. If it's a simple report, they should be able to complete that in their car. They can't under our current system. We had some challenges from a legal standpoint. City Manager Brooks Mitchell worked very hard to overcome that. We did seek legal action against PTS because the bottom line is, even today, they could not provide us, today, as we stand here, they can't provide us what they promised us. And there were some shortcomings in the contract that did not make it easy for us to correct this problem. So when I say the city manager, his involvement was critical, that's significant. That's a significant statement, because it wasn't something we could just point to in a contract and say, hey, you're not doing this. There were some shortcomings in that contract. That's why we wanted to make sure that we get it right this time. But either way, we did prevail in that, and we did a managed settlement out of court with PTS. But that agreement comes to an end in the end of 2026. And so our current system will not be supported by PTS after 2026. And so that's why we want to make a decision. At the end of 2026, if we weren't fully go live, which we don't anticipate we will be, it's not like the computers would shut down or we wouldn't have any ability to respond to calls or take reports. But as far as any problems that we might come across, as far as any upgrades, as far as any continued maintenance, we would not receive it after 2026. Yes, sir. So moving on, any questions so far?
Is it a program, you said not until 2026, is it something that's possible to do before that?
That's a great question, Councilman. To make a transition? What we're being told by the vendor.
More efficient?
Yes, sir. What we're being told by the vendor is it's an 18-month process.
Okay.
Yeah, transition process.
Yeah.
I'm optimistic. I think we have a great team. I think Tyler's very aggressively gone after this contract and put their best foot forward. Maybe we can cut that short, but I think it's at a minimum going to be a 12-month deal. So, but what we'll be requesting in the future is a 7-year software service agreement for council. We'd also request to move forward with the upgrade of our police and fire systems and replace PTS completely. The new Tyler system is called the Tyler Enterprise Public Safety Suite. It'll bring improvements, including enhanced dispatch response capabilities, upgraded records management, and better mobile reporting tools for both officers and firefighters. Again, there's not a area of public safety that this won't have some level of impact on, and that's what's important. But initially, we will have upfront installation costs, and we'll get into that here in just a minute, but you'll have implementation cost, and then we'll have long-term, year after year, software
Maintenance.
SaaS agreements.
So emergency management will be tied into all this too?
I don't know that emergency management has any direct impact on our CAD RMS, do they? No, they really don't take calls for service, and they're really not impacted. Now, if we had an emergency, a natural disaster or emergency weather event, I can guarantee that emergency management would want a functioning a system like this, but on a day-to-day, it probably will not touch emergency management.
All right.
This is just a simple slide that goes over kind of the project components and how we would be progressing forward. It's pretty straightforward from that standpoint. We have some simple concepts of get through the software licensing and then data mitigation, which is going to be pretty substantial, and there's still some discussion points that could change on what data mitigation looks like. Once we move forward with the contract, we'll be asked a question, and we'll have to make a decision. Do we want to convert data over, or do we want to start fresh? And so, how much confidence do you have in your PTS data? It's garbage in, garbage out type mindset. And so we'll have a committee that Major Maddox has already put together that will kind of vet through that and help us make those decisions as we move forward. Generally, we'll go through the implementation and training, and then we'll move into the host long-term maintenance support. And so what does that back office system look like? What is that when we call at 2 o'clock in the morning with a problem? What kind of service do we get for that? And that's where Tyler, being a larger player in the game, and when I say they're a larger player in the game, we narrowed it down to two of the probably the largest CAD RMS providers in the country. And then once we had those two, our staff, our line level users actually came in and used both products, and they were the ones that directed us on what steps we would take and which vendor we would bring before you. And the important part of that is one of the things we dealt with PTS was there wasn't that end user involvement in the selection. And so as I said before, this will probably least impact me on a day-to-day basis. So my opinion on how it functions and how it works is probably not the most forefront, but that end user who's actually trying to take a report in the car, or that dispatcher that's trying to enter a call on the call screen, we really want to hear what they had to say, and we really want to hear what their feedback is on what direction they think is best to help them do their job better. And this was what we came up with, and this, from our feedback, is where we landed with recommending Tyler Technologies. In the metro, you have Edmond, Norman, Midwest City, Yukon, and then we would be the fifth metro agency using a similar system or using a Tyler product. When of course, we're entering into a new contract, when those other agencies upgrade their systems, there will be some interoperability between all of those. Midwest City, did I mention Midwest City's on that system? I think Midwest City will be the next to come online with the enterprise system, which is what we are recommending moving forward with. But that interoperability will just continue to help with keeping communities safe, keeping, for lack of a better term, bad guys under control. With that, we move to kind of some benchmarks. If we were to move forward, this is what it would look like. The benchmark was explained to me as it's the Project Management Institute's just basic implementation stages. Nothing special about this other than kind of gives you an idea of how we would start from step 1 to step 2 and through step 6. When we look at that, we can look at some potential funding sources, which we have. We believe that although this is an unbudgeted item from a capital standpoint or from a general obligation standpoint or general fund standpoint, we do have funding sources identified that we think can support this easily. But when it talks about what it looks like getting this implemented, I'd be happy to answer questions or have Tyler answer questions on what their plan is to implement this if you wanted deeper details. Otherwise, we can move to the fiscal.
Is there additional or new hardware required in this?
Absolutely, sir. You brought me to my next slide. Yes, sir. Currently, our police cars have a mixed match of laptops and iPads. Of course, one's Microsoft, one's iOS. Yeah. This is a Microsoft primary product, so we would need to replace those. The additional hardware cost we think is going to be $130,000 ballpark. I can get you a more detailed number than that, but and you'll see it below on that $125,985.15 is the specific number, but ballparking $130,000. For this fiscal year impact, what we would need between now and July or June 30 is $738,000. That would include the project implementation, the different components of the initiation plan, assessment, prepare, solution. You see the percentages out to the right and then what that looks like, plus the first year SaaS fees. have any questions about those. So over that 25 to 2027, with the estimated travel of Tyler project management team and representatives being paid out of our cost, we're looking at just over $1 million. Take their travel costs out, the actual Tyler product itself is looking at $952,000. That would be, we're go live, we've paid the SAS fees, and we're ready to move into just more of a yearly maintenance type schedule. So you're right, hardware costs be about $130,000. The next, this kind of looks at maintenance and support and the reoccurring host fees. What's interesting about this is, as I recall or believe, Tyler wanted a 5-year with the help of our consultant, which this council hired, and the hard work of Major Maddox, we pushed that to a 7. Also, we remained flat at a 3% increase that starts in year 4. Again, that was something that we were able to negotiate with Tyler, but it wasn't their first look. I believe they wanted 5, and so we negotiated that down to a 3% year increase starting in year 4. Again, on this reoccurring component, we also believe we have a funding source secured if needed, because there's a certain portion of that, and here's where it gets a little bit more complex again. CAD, computer-aided dispatch, works in a physical location of the dispatch center. State 911 fees can be used for enhancements in that physical location. So we couldn't buy handheld radios, we couldn't buy mobile computers that work out in the field. It's got to be within that comm center. So chairs, radios, desks can all come out of 911 funds. 911 funds can also support and purchase CAD portion. Not the RMS, but the CAD portion. And so even with reoccurring costs, about a third of that reoccurring cost could potentially come from the 911 funds that we receive each year, or wherever this body and the city manager dictate it to come from, but just offering that as a potential funding portion. And the other third would come from other sources as well. So in summary, we feel like we've done significant due diligence to correct a problem that we've been dealing with since 2018. PTS has suffered and failed the entire time that I've been here, and from my understanding, it's suffered and failed the entire time that we've had it purchased. It is coming up on 7 years, as you see with Tyler. We're looking at a 7-year maintenance agreement with them. So realistically speaking, I don't think Tyler's going to be end of life at 7 years, but we might be seeing upgrades or changes in the Tyler system. But I think Tyler is something we can stay connected with long-term, long into the future. Norman's been with Tyler since around 2015, 2016, and they have no plans of changing, so that shows some long-term sustainability. I think Midwest City has been with Tyler Technology for a significant amount of time. We're looking for a CAD RMS system that can grow as we grow, and that can be responsive to our community needs. And we're seeing that with some of our community, our metro partners, and we believe that it'd be a good investment for our city moving forward, and it'll be transformational as far as our dispatch center and our officers working in the field, our detectives investigating cases, and then even all the way down to a citizen coming in to get a report from Records Division.
So is this system completely cloud-based?
Yes, sir.
So what type of redundancy do we have to support the fact that nothing exists on our premise?
So I would defer you to my friend from Tyler to answer questions on their storage and what they do with other cities, because honestly, sir, that's an IT question that I am not prepared to, well, not prepared, I'm not educated enough to answer.
Yeah,
So,
come on up. Y'all can text it.
yes, sir.
Chief, while he's walking up there, is every person in your department, in the fire department, gonna have to go through training to use this new system?
Yes, so there's a training component where Tyler will send representatives out to host basically in-service training to make sure all the users are properly trained on all its capabilities. detectives might get different training than patrol officers. Dispatchers are absolutely going to get different training than patrol officers or detectives. So it'll be customized to the different divisions and the needs of those divisions, but there is training included in this.
Will they also train some of your personnel to be able to troubleshoot and as things go on down the road where they'll be readily to do it?
Yes, sir, we call those super users.
Yeah.
So
the
Tyler
knowledge
will
that-
train super users within the department to help work on some of the smaller scale issues. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, when you get problems with technology, I mean, you need someone available 24/7, 365. Doesn't matter if it's Christmas Eve at 8 PM and your system goes down, you need someone to be able to get going to fix that stuff. I'm sure that while we're under contract with them, that's not gonna be a problem, that you'll just you have someone that's in charge of your department's gonna call them to get immediate service. How long has Tyler been in business now?
These are excellent questions, Councilmember. I will turn you over to them and let them answer.
Thank you, Chief.
Go ahead, I'll let you go ahead and speak with Louis. I'll
Oh,
have
It's
some
fine, it's
questions
fine.
for you.
We're gonna be here a bit, so.
Yeah.
I'll answer Mr. Williams' questions first, which is this is a cloud-based system, which is what we've proposed. And what happens if there's a natural disaster or the internet stops working, how can your officers, your first responders continue to work? So we provide 911 systems across the country. We've anticipated that, and so what we have built into the system is if the internet were to be disconnected, the workstations that the dispatchers work off become autonomous, standalone systems where they can continue to take calls, capture a narrative, capture the times that the officers are being dispatched, and continue to collect information. When the servers and the internet comes back online, that data that was captured by the dispatchers on their standalone individual workstations synchronizes back up. Similarly, for the officers in the field, they have laptops in their cruisers. That laptop will continue to be used. They can take reports, and that report will be stored locally until, again, the connectivity is reestablished, and then the reports can be synchronized back up to the cloud.
Excellent, thank you. How long has Tyler been in business now?
Tyler has been in business for 51 years.
51 years. How much into the metro area when you first came in with some of these departments with Edmond, Norman, and Yukon?
It would have been around the 2010 timeframe, sir.
Okay.
Just to clarify, Tyler is a fairly large provider of public sector software. You may know that we provide the city's court systems and your finance systems. We're the largest provider of public sector software in the nation. We're publicly traded in the S&P 500.
Is New World, is that two separate, or did you guys combine?
New World was one of the larger providers of public safety software for 911 centers, police, and fire around the nation. In 2015, Tyler did not have a Tier 1 enterprise level national product, and so Tyler acquired New World and then began investing heavily to make New World even better.
And when I was talking earlier about the 24/7, 365, you guys guarantee that, right?
We have 24/7 support, and in the contract, again, I'll admire the way the police department went about this process. They did a great deal of due diligence. There's a RFP with hundreds of pages of requirements. We provided a formal response. Our response is part of the contract, and we're obligated to deliver. The consultant engaged us with negotiating the statement of work, which is the directive of how we will perform our work, how we'll execute against the contract. That became an exhibit to the contract. The payments for the project are all tied to us performing and achieving milestones, so the city is protected with retainage of funds against the project, all because, of course, your prior experience was not favorable. And so they brought that perspective into this process with a formal functional RFP, detailed evaluations, demonstrations, reference checks, and this is one of the most thorough processes we've gone through, and we do 200 of these a year.
You all still have, I think it's yearly, where people can come down there and you update them and train them with the new equipment or anything else comes out, new systems.
See, we've been trying to evolve that, sir, so that it doesn't end up being a waterfall approach like that. So one of the things we've invested heavily in over the last several years is an online distance learning asset. We call it Tyler University. In fact, we have over 30,000 officers that use these instead of laptops now, and we don't deliver any training for that. They simply go to Tyler University, they take 4 hours of curriculum online where we can see if they pass, and officers can go out in the field and run OLETs, they can do reports on the phone, citations, and we don't even have to train them. So we're investing more in self-service, kind of teach them to fish, so then you don't have this, people get atrophied on their knowledge and you have to go through this big 1 year expensive retraining and then you start over. We'd rather have them incrementally continue to learn as they go without any cost to the city, which is why we've invested in this distance learning. Of course, during the project, I should say, the Tyler people will come on site. Our experts will be on boots on the ground to train your users, make sure they know how the system works, help tailor it until they're off and running on their own. But the Tyler University learning thing is more after the fact so that you continue to sharpen the saw.
Thank you.
Just for the record, could you give us your name?
Sorry.
and who you
I
represent?
didn't really thought I'd speak. My name is Greg Wandre. I'm a director of public safety for Tyler Technologies. And our division is headquartered in Michigan. That's where I am from.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
So explain to me how this is going to improve our manual process. Are there aspects of this that help our dispatchers be able to do a better job, not make mistakes, that kind of thing? Not that that's happened, but
Well, with inferior tools, mistakes occur.
Sure.
So there's a lot of investment that we've made in the 911 community over the years to help, frankly, not the dispatchers do a better job, but to help them get citizens help faster. Imagine this you probably are familiar with Uber. So you order Uber and you're looking on your phone and you can see that he's 4 blocks away and he's on his way. Dispatchers in this town cannot do that right now. If someone calls 911 from their cell phone, your dispatchers are blind. Right. Our technology will leverage that same Uber technology. We'll know precisely where that caller is located. And we'll also know precisely where the closest, fastest response can occur.
Sure.
That kind of technology around the country, it's not just that Tyler's invented this. That's what the National APCO and NENA organizations advocate for. So it will help you provide faster response to the people who ask for emergency services. Okay. But one of the things the chief said, what I think is really more important, is it's been years, frankly, since we've seen a police department where an officer has to leave the scene of an incident, go back to the police station, write a report, and then go back on patrol.
that's just ludicrously.
You lose so much visibility in the community, and community policing is an important aspect. There's been an enormous initiative over the past several years by the IACP to bring productivity and efficiency to policing work. So imagine in our world if you were to watch someone using Tyler technology make a traffic stop and they scan a driver's license and they get the data electronically from your system or from the state and then they cut and paste that into the report. And then so much of that work is going to be automated for them. They won't have to write the VIN number down 5 times. I had an officer say, by the time I finish arresting someone, I know their social security number better than they do because I've typed it in 7 times. In our application, that won't occur. We really are mindful of trying to make the officers' work go very, very fast and efficient, reduce errors, more importantly, get them back on the most important role, which is visible in the community, providing law enforcement.
Absolutely. Okay, great. Anyone else?
Parting comment, we are delighted to have come this far, and we'd be a great partner for your first responders and public safety. We look forward to this project.
Thank you very much.
Sir.
Yep.
Mayor, Council, my closing words would be just thank you for your involvement. Thank you for asking the questions in full transparency. It gets very technical, very high level, very fast. Thank you for your tough questions, sir. We appreciate Tyler being here to answer them, but more importantly, we have taken significant pains to do this the right way and get it right this time because there are a lot of scars within the organization about the previous time and in the current software. And so your questions, we want your questions. I welcome your questions. Tyler welcomes your questions. Our staff welcomes your questions because we don't want to miss something. And if you see something or you think something, please ask it because we might not have asked the question yet.
I read through about half the contract today. I started going blurry-eyed. about then, so I'll finish reading through the rest of the contract.
Well, I'm blurry too, sir, and sometimes it causes my
No,
thoughts to
and
scatter.
I appreciate your due diligence and your preparation, and, but we have to understand how important this is for our city, but at the same time, this is a large outlay of cash. And so we just gotta make sure that we do cross all the,
I
dot all
agree.
the i's, so.
I agree.
Chief, will the court be able to be part of this eventually, or all this?
So Brazos is also a Tyler product, and it will incorporate into the RMS system. And so court will be touched on this as well and be involved.
Cool.
Did you mention the fire department has also got the capabilities of?
So fire department, and Chief Marler can speak on this, but runs a system called First Due, because the Tyler RMS is not a fire response system. But where fire will be engaged primarily is some of the efficiencies that he was talking about with dispatch. I would like to echo too that under Ms. Mason's leadership and the support of this council, we have implemented what we call protocols. So medical protocols, police protocols, and fire protocols, which all speed up decision-making for dispatchers. But to the representative's comments, if they have a bad engine that they're running in this car, it doesn't matter how fast they're able to get the information. If it's not efficiently processed out, that's where time gets involved. Chief Marler can talk a little bit about First Due and how it will integrate, but CAD will really be touching that the most. And when it comes to the fire department, as we've heard Chief Marler and others talk about, time is of the essence for them, for their ISO 1 rating. But Chief Marler, do you have comments?
Currently with PTS, we're greatly limited on the ability to interface other softwares to that CAD system. One of the upgrades that we're trying to work through with the fire department is it'll take the communications, and our dispatcher will not have to stop with the caller and then send fire units out. The dispatcher could continue the process while software systems in place would be like a Siri and be sending us out, which would get us on scene much quicker. 30 seconds, 45 seconds can make significant difference in firefighting and medical calls. We struggle with insurance service offices, the organization of collecting the data to maintain our ISO rating and have good insurance rates in the city. We struggle to get call answering times. What percentage of those occur in 15 seconds, 45 seconds? How many are transferred to Norman when we're overwhelmed? And not being able to get that data, we lose points in those ISO areas. This software with the geofencing, geolocation like they spoke of, a lot of times we'll verbally go responding verbally on scene. The dispatcher may be busy and not be able to push the button for quite some time, 30 seconds, 40 seconds. That affects our on-scene and arrival times. Through geofencing, when the truck breaks through a barrier, geo barrier, it'll automatically put us responding. And they can geofence that scene that we respond to, and when we break that barrier, it automatically puts us on scene so a dispatcher doesn't have to stop what they're doing and enter the time. So huge advancements in technology, both police and fire, that we're incredibly restricted by now.
Will would you be able to utilize their report writing system for the police to the fire? I know you write probably different reports, but.
So in the First Due software that we approved a few meetings back, that will be our record management system. However, Tyler CAD will interface with that, push all the necessary information into that system. Currently, that's an issue that we have with PTS. There should be different times in answering times, dispatching times, alarm times, and those get blurred together currently with PTS, and we're not able to separate those out. That's correctable with this new product.
Okay. So summing it up, you're excited about this too?
I think this will be a great advancement for everybody involved, yes.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thanks. Any other questions or any other comments from the chiefs?
Mayor, I don't know if this answers your question, but it wouldn't be seamless that a police officer's RMS report would have the same fillable requirements as the fires. That's why they're doing First Due, because it has fire-related significant questions and blocks to fill out. And Tyler doesn't offer that product with their RMS. It's more of law enforcement related.
Yeah.
No other
Okay.
comments from me. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your consideration. We hope to bring you more in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
And
gentlemen.
this is just information?
Yes, just for.
Okay. Yes, it was. Thanks again, appreciate all of it. This time, we're going to recess the city council meeting and convene the Moore Public Works Authority meeting. Item 10 is the consent docket.
Make a motion to approve consent docket items A and B.
Second?
Would you call the vote, please?
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Sid Porter,
Here.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Rob Clark,
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes. Item passes. We'll recess the Moore Public Works Authority meeting and convene the Moore Risk Management meeting. Item 11 is the consent docket.
Make a motion to approve items A and B.
Second.
Would you call the vote?
Sid Porter,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Rob Clark,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes. Item passes. We're going to recess the Risk Management meeting and convene the Moore Economic Development Authority meeting.
Who's that? Is it me?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Can you call the roll? I
Kathy
think it was you,
Griffith,
Kathy.
Here.
Sid Porter,
Here.
Mark Ham,
Here?
Louis Williams.
Here.
Adam Webb, Rob Clark,
Here.
Melissa Hunt.
Here. Item 13 is a consent docket.
Make a motion to approve consent docket item A.
Second?
A motion and a second. Will you call the roll?
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Louis Williams,
Yes.
Rob Clark,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Sid Porter,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes. We'll now recess the Moore Economic Development Authority meeting and reconvene the city council meeting.
Okay, and just let all the record reflect that all members that were present are still. New business, citizens forum. Nobody has signed up. Item B, items from city council trustees.
I have an item, through some concerns that I've had with the animal shelter, I've been kind of delving through all the records, and I've looked at our ordinance for disposition of impounded animals. And looking at item B on that, I have some concern that that puts a lot of stress on holding the animal for 5 days, and after that point, it can be destroyed. And I think the focus of our animal shelter should be adopting the animals out whenever possible, whether that means adopting them out, working with rescues. It should always be a live outcome whenever possible. And so I'd like to see us look at that ordinance and see if we can make some changes to that ordinance.
And we do have a draft ordinance, which I plan to bring to the next council meeting.
Great, thank you.
Nice.
Okay, anybody, any other council have anything?
I just wanted to real quickly congratulate the police personnel on the last week's awards banquet, and what a fantastic banquet it was, and just appreciate the men and women that work for the police department and all that they do, along with all of our employees here. But we just have, you know, top-notch people, and we're very blessed. But congratulations to those who receive awards.
Here, here. Yeah, I would just echo that. I'm just very impressed with the Impact Foundation and all of their work going into putting that together and to make it happen. It's just always a great event. And two, yeah, hats off to those police officers and dispatchers that were recognized. Again, we don't want to leave our firefighters and really all of our city staff. But it was a wonderful event, so good job. And then we'll go to items from the city trust manager. Uh-oh. Okay.
Not yet, anyway.
Well, sometimes I can give my updates in, 6, 7 words, but this one's going to take just a few more words. So, David, if you could run the video first, please. So just wanted to show the mayor and council, we flew the drone was flown today on the overpass, or the underpass rather, and so you can kind of get a glimpse of it as you drive by, but I thought today might be a good day just to show what all's happened. It takes about 2 minutes.
walls are up. Yep.
That's nice.
You're just gonna ramp over it.
So, not sure how many of the drone footage the council's been able to see over the last few months, but to get a really good view, you've got to wear the official boots, vest, and hard hat, and sometimes that's easier said than done. So I thought I would just show the drone. So, other thing I'd like to visit with you about, still talking about a proposed sales tax, and we're going to continue to talk. There's a lot to talk about, a lot of things to consider, and so in my previous presentation, I listed the current projects that had just the design costs that were approved in the 2023 bond issue. And those are these projects that are listed. So tonight I'm giving you, these are the projected estimated costs for construction for these projects. We've received about $11 million in ACOG funding on these, so the gross cost is almost $58 million and the net cost is $46.6 million. So it's the same money that it will take for these projects. The question is, what do we want the repayment source to be? Do we want it to be through GO bonds, which we can certainly do? This is what we've done over many years, and it's a process that's worked well for us. Or do we want to consider giving our residents some property tax relief on the City of Moore portion of the property taxes and try and fund this through a sales tax? It's still the same repayment money. It's what's the source are we looking for? So to go back to the GO bonds, again, the GO bonds have worked well. We have to go out for an election each time, and hopefully the voters approve it and we can go for it. One of the things that I've talked about is flexibility. It would be great if we had flexibility in our ability to fund these projects. And so, for instance, right now, while the GO bonds work well for us, we don't have really any flexibility as far as short-term projects that we need to address, medium-term projects that we need to address, and then longer-term projects that we need to address. So,
Just real quick, so these are the engineering and design only has been approved, but to build
it, this is additional money that we
And
need.
this doesn't include any of the drainage issues that we have over in East Hill?
No, this
or
is
Public
correct.
Safety Center?
Correct, because those have no money right now.
Right.
No allocation.
So
And
we've
the-
already got cash on the table for these things.
Right.
We've already paid significant cash, the citizens have,
Well,
through GO bonds.
the citizens for these projects, they have just funded the design portion.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's cash on the table.
That's right, that's
So-
cash on the table. So, my view of a short-term project is something that we need to do, but, in between 0 and 2 years. And so the drainage projects, those weren't on the table this time last year. Well, they got on the table with the rain events that we had in the spring. And so I think it's the desire that we do something that we try and do something about that. So anytime that a project is brought forward to the council, the first question that everybody asks is, what's the funding source? Well, okay. So typically it's been GO bonds. If we had this sales tax, we would have a funding source and the flexibility to be able to address things like the drainage projects in the northeast part of the city, or, a couple of years ago, the northwest part of the city, Golden Acres, those streets just failed. We would have flexibility to be able to do those projects that we need to get done in the next year or two, just because it's important, and it came up, and we can't just put it in the queue necessarily. You know, medium projects are 2 to 5 year items that we need to do the design and things like that. But we're able to plan out what our funding source is and fit that in with all of our other projects. And then, of course, the long-term projects are greater than 5 years. So the 2 drainage projects, those are $20 million. On Rambling Oaks and then up on Northeast 20th and Lincoln, between the two of them. That's $20 million. Again, we don't have the funding source, but for those projects and other similar type projects, and, you know, unfortunately, we're going to have them, and unfortunately, they're going to be expensive. Everything we do now is expensive. So we would have flexibility to be able to address those more quickly and be more responsive than what we are now. I mean, we're doing the best we can right now, but we still have to go out for elections, we still have to get GO bonds approved and do those things. And we still have to, you know, internally, we've limited ourselves, which I think is good, to 16.5 mils. You know, it can't be above 16.5 mils. If we had the sales tax, we would still have those same parameters. We would have to operate within those, but we would have more flexibility than what we do. So the drainage projects I've touched on. These are, you know, another $46 million just for projects that the voters have put design money on the table for that they expect to be done. Other projects that I talked about were widening streets east of Bryant, Northeast 27th, Northeast 12th, Southeast 4th, Southeast 19th. All of those at some point need to be 4 lanes. Well, what's the funding source? You know, the first question that we always have. And so, is the desire to continue to do this through GO bonds? If so, that's fine. If the desire is to change how we do business, provide more flexibility, provide us the ability to be able to respond faster to do these things, a sales tax would be the way to go. And if a sales tax is passed, there really would be no reason for us to go out for any type of a significant GO bond issue in the foreseeable future. And I think that, and this is my personal opinion, I think that if this were to be on the ballot and pass, that's the resident saying, okay, city, this is what you wanted, you know, figure it out. So, you know, I accept the challenge. I think we would do very well with it. But I just wanted to bring this to the council's attention, just, you know, to continue the dialogue. We still need to talk. There's still some more data we need to get. My initial plan was to bring this to the council at the next meeting, to ask them to put it on the ballot in February. I think we're rushing it just a little bit. There's some other data, and so, you know, my plan now is to move that back, you know, a couple, 3 meetings until we have some more discussion in the data, and then look at putting it on the ballot in April. We don't lose anything by putting it on the ballot in April. So it's still, if put on the ballot and passed, would still, you know, fundamentally change the way the city does business, I think for the better. But I just wanted to bring this to the council's attention and, you know, continue the discussion.
So I think that you brought up a really important point. When we had our work study, it was almost like some people were talking, you know, people are taxed, you know, to death, and we don't want to tax. But if we don't pass the sales tax, we still have to pass the GO bond. It's not like it's not no sales tax, no tax at all. These projects have to be done. The drainage projects have to be done. So we have to pay for it somehow, and we just have to decide whether or not we prefer the GO bond or the sales tax. But the tax, I mean, we have to do it.
Right.
And it can't be done within the general fund. I mean, we just don't have
Correct.
that capacity.
Correct. And we're offering the trade.
Right.
If we have the sales tax, your property taxes, the city portion will be reduced over time.
Right.
So, you know, we're not just out asking for more, we're offering a trade.
Right.
And so how would you like the city to do business in the future?
Good idea would be to come up with some, not proposals, but some estimation of what we think that could look like if we pass this sales tax. Then in 3 years, possibly the GO bond could go down a little, and
Sure.
so on.
Right.
So, but
You can
have
show
it
the-
where people could physically see
Sure.
an example of what that impact would look like.
And And as we're putting things on the website, could we also do, I don't know if it's a video or something, because a lot of the comments that I've gotten is, well, you know, all these houses are being built, where's all that property tax going? And explaining again how the cities are funded in our state, that we're getting the GO bond property taxes, but we're not getting those property taxes, that's going to the state.
12% is going to help pay our GO bond issue, and 88% is going elsewhere.
Right, right.
I
Yeah,
like-
I'd be glad to do
I
that.
like the flexibility. To me, that, you know, that just, the flexibility to meet those, like the drainage issues, you know, and they come up and the devastation that was for the city of Moore. We can address those kind of issues quicker and easier. I do like that. But I think one of the biggest things we need to do is our communication to the residents.
Mm-hmm.
So part of, I read through all the comments and stuff that you sent us. One of the things that, the thoughts that I had just in reading through all that and everything, what would the effect of that tax be if it was 0.75 instead of 1? Just trying to think
Right.
out loud. Can we, what all could we do if that was
If it
the
wasn't a full
threshold that
penny.
we- And I don't know if that's a good idea or bad, but I think those are things that we need to talk about, so.
Sure, and the short answer is, we could still do a lot if it was
Right.
0.75.
Yeah.
You know, we could still do that. You know, it changes up the long-range planning,
Yeah.
but we could still do a lot, so.
So typically, once we put something on the ballot, we hold meetings with, in each ward, perhaps maybe doing those meetings before we decide to put it on the ballot and get those questions answered. And so we kind of do have more of a feel of, is a penny really realistic, or is it, you know,
Yeah.
3/4 of a penny, whatever. Maybe that's an option too.
I like that.
Sure.
Well, and the data that Deidre has gathered for us is extremely helpful, but part of that, you have to figure out how to put that in
Right,
perspective
right,
of
right.
everybody, because that's probably not a true perspective of everybody, but we just need some help to think through that and help us rationalize, you know, because that was just 40 some odd responses
Right.
that she sent
Right.
us, and you know, some of them were very affirmative, some of them were not so affirmative, all that kind of stuff, and it just, because getting a handle on what's the mentality of our voter base, because we know we got 63,000 people, around 3,000 of them is
Or the
all that
voter
ever
base,
votes.
right.
And how do we figure out where that mentality of people is, and what sector of our city are they in? Is that predominantly older people or younger people, or who does that apply to? And 'cause
Right.
If we pass tax, everybody's gonna pay the tax, everybody that shops here.
Right. And the data that Deidre distributed was, I mean, are the capital projects still important? Overwhelmingly, yes.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
Is public safety, support for public safety still important? Overwhelmingly, yes.
But I just don't wanna pay for it.
Are real estate taxes too high? Overwhelmingly, yes. Well, then do you want a sales tax? Well, maybe, maybe not. And so, you know, it's, you know, we were good 1 through 3, but in number 4, you know, we dropped off. So we've got to have a better message and provide better information to the citizens so they can understand that. Now, I mean, a couple of the comments were, well, we just don't believe that you. Well, if we say we'll do it, we'll do it,
Right.
because we have
I think we have a good track
we have a
record.
very good track record
Yes.
on doing that. So, you know.
And that's part of where my not concerns, but some of where I'm thinking in my head more than I ought to probably is, there were several statements about what are you doing with the money you already have? And maybe we could craft some messaging that could help.
Yeah, there were some comments about the 12th Street from
Yeah,
Eastern not being done, and expressed that the reason that's not being done is because Fourth Street is being done, and we can't do all that. It's not that we're not going to do it, it's
Right.
the timing and all
Right.
that. And so, yeah, I think we've been good stewards of the money and done what we said we
Well,
were
and
gonna do.
that's our perspective from here,
Right.
but I'm not sure that that's 100%.
Right.
Our citizenry
Right.
would agree with that. So how do we craft messaging to where that
Show.
we can convey that better
To
to
show it.
them?
Well, and the thing that I'm not sure that a lot of the residents really understand is the trade-offs as far as the ACOG money. So,
Yeah.
if we get ACOG money, well, that's great. That's that much less that our citizens have to pay, and it's, $32 million and counting at this point. But then they become ODOT projects. They're not just our projects anymore. And so when you're working with other entities, it changes things. So, I mean, look at the underpass.
Well, but
It's-
even the
yeah.
story on Fourth Street.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean, what the cost of that was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And what it's
Yeah.
ended up being
Yeah.
is significantly different, because a lot of people did a lot of work to make that happen. And we got money that we didn't know we were gonna get, to get that done, so.
The residential streets that we did through the 2021 GEO bond issue, those were just city projects. We didn't have to work with ODOT or BNSF or any other entity, and we were able to complete those pretty close to being on schedule. I mean, there were some delays and some hiccups, but we were pretty close to being on schedule. So if it's just a City of Moore project, we're able to move a lot faster. But when you involve other entities, well, then with that, even though they may bring money, comes their rules and other things. And so we have to abide by those rules, and it will slow things down.
Yeah. So have we had an update from either ODOT or BNSF on the projected completion time? The ODOT guy said July of '26, and
Well, depending on who you talk to, it's either somewhere between October of '26 and January of 2027.
Okay.
So, I mean,
that's,
they're a little bit behind where they'd hope to be, but, I mean, they are moving along pretty good. And we have run into a couple of gas lines that we've had to address, and that's, created some delay. But, it's moving along.
yep, sounds good.
Well, thank you.
Deidre,
Brooks, you have anything
I was
else?
gonna ask Deidre, did we get any new data that, is it pretty much the same?
Send about every Thursday, I'll send you all out the
Okay, that'd be good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brooks.
Appreciate it.
Okay, and with that, the next item is adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Would you call the roll?
Kathy Griffith. Sid Porter.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Rob Clark.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, we're adjourned. Thanks, everybody.